Okay, welcome back to podcast number 2 on Byrons World. This week we are joined by Max. How are you today, Sunshine?
Hello, mate. How are you? I'm very good. Very good.
I'm very good, very good. A little bit tired after watching the boxing last night where my man Ruiz Jr. managed to knock out Anthony Joshua and confirm what I've been saying. I've been saying for years that Joshua is overhyped, and last night when he got hit by Ruiz, it was like a rabbit in the headlights. I know you didn't stay up, did you? But
I didn't stay up. I mean, I've had a quick glance at the highlights this morning, just mainly because I couldn't quite believe that he got beat by a stand-in. But fair play to the geezer. Yeah, he after that first hit, that first down, he did not look comfortable after he got back up. Not at all.
But that's why I respect Ruiz a little bit more, because everybody. I mean, he took the fight on 5 weeks. 5 weeks notice because Miller was obviously a druggie. And everyone's slagging him off, saying, "Oh, he's a fat man," blah 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 blah. And then he goes and does that. Unbelievable. The first Mexican heavyweight champion ever in boxing.
I know. Mental to go and take 3 belts off Joshua on 5 weeks' notice, mate. Unreal.
Money down the drain. It just shows that he couldn't do it in the States, but somebody who could do it in the States was you, my friend. So today we're gonna start the Traveller's Tale series because Max actually went and did Camp America, which a few people will know about. But yeah, how me and Max met, it was before he did Camp America. Me and Max met.
It was in a long time ago in a sunny, distant land. 2015.
4 years ago.
Summer 14 or 15. I don't. 15. I think. No, 4. I don't know. 14 or 15. They were all a bit of a blur.
When I actually met Max, I thought he looks a bit different to what he did now. He didn't have the beard or anything.
I've got a nice wise beard.
You've matured. You've matured very, very well.
Matured like a fine wine.
But when I met you, I'll never forget. I said to you, "You remind me of Ralph Wiggum from The Simpsons," and then you looked at me and said, "Well, if I'm Ralph Wiggum,
if I'm Ralph, you're Chief
Chief Wiggum." So then you started calling me Dad, didn't you? And I started calling you Son. It was all fun and games, and we had a laugh with it, and then we took it to the next level. We got very pissed up one night in the Viking, in Sunny Beach in Bulgaria, and Max went to the tattoo studio, and what did you get?
I got probably the worst tattoo that I've got, without a shadow of a doubt, but also the funniest. Byron is my dad, tattooed as a nice sort of tramp stamp across my hip.
And anybody watching visually, we're going to get the image of that up now. There we go.
You want me to get the tattoo? Oh, you've got it, as if you've got it.
No, you're gonna send me a picture after the pod now. I'm going to edit it in. And anybody listening on Spotify or on Apple Podcasts, then head over to YouTube if you'd like to see that. So today we're going to talk about your trip to America. How long ago was this? What year did you do? Did you do the Camp America?
So Camp America was not last summer, the summer before. So what we are now, 2017? Yeah, summer 2017.
And what made you want to do Camp America? I mean, I've seen things around, around the internet, Facebook, different people doing it, but what made you want to?
I mean, for me, camp was, I was in a position where I wasn't working at home. I was doing bits and bobs, bit of freelance stuff. I just split up with an ex not long before going, and one of them things where you'll know you split up with someone, you just want to get away, go and get out of that headspace, and then go and do something different. I was teaching and doing a bit of teaching, some sport in schools, doing some freelance stuff, and I just thought it popped up. Camp America, I thought, yeah, do you know what? Something I've always been keen on doing. Let's just apply and see what happens. And like 2 weeks later, I got the job at one of the most prestigious camps in America, and I was applying for my visa.
What's the application process like when you're doing something like Camp America? Like, do you have to apply for a specific job when you're going out there?
I went through a company called Camp Leaders. So it's saying a similar story to Camp America or Americamp or whatever. There's quite a few that do it. But it was really easy. You literally apply online, you pay like a nominal fee, and then that starts the process and gets your profile built. You build your own profile, and then from there you just go into like a big file, and every camp in America can see your file, and then they pick you for what your skills are good at. So I obviously mentioned working with kids, teaching a bit of golf, teaching a bit of football, and got approached by said camp, and that's sort of how it starts and how the application process goes.
And then you've got to sort out your visa and all that.
As
well.
Yeah, so then you're onto visas and flights and whatever else you need. I mean, the guys that you apply through, so like Camp Leaders or Camp America, they are very helpful with that. And that's obviously what you pay them for, is to help get you into a decent camp, get you out there. If you want to, they'll sort your flights for you, or you can do it yourself. But yeah, no, it's a pretty easy process. The visa bit's probably the longest bit. You have to go for a little interview in London at the embassy, but other than that, it's not too bad.
So after applying, you've got your job sorted and everything. Whereabouts in America then did you fly to? Whereabouts in America was you working?
So I was working in upstate New York in a place called Warrensburg, which is just north of Albany, up in the Adirondack Mountains. Camp called Camp Echo Lake. Really nice camp. Fly into New York. I spent like 4 or 5 days in New York with a few of the other guys that were going up to camp that year. So went to a Yankees game, went into town, went on a few bars, just experienced Manhattan, just experienced New York, and then headed up to camp on a mega bus for 4.5 hours to Albany, greeted by some of the campers and the staff that picked us up in a what the Americans call a minivan, or what we probably refer to as a big old Chrysler, and or a mum wagon. And unfortunately didn't have air conditioning, and it was rather hot. So it was a warm way to start, but yeah, really, really good. Easy to get out there. Got to see New York City, which was awesome, and then headed up to camp for a pretty unforgettable summer.
When you was in the camp, the other guys who was doing the camp with you, what nationalities was you mixed in with? Was it a lot of Brits?
I'd say you're probably like 80% of Brits. Like, I think Camp in America is definitely something that's sold as you've got international staff. Your international staff are a big point in like kid campers' lives. So yeah, definitely a lot of Brits, but also lots of others. Like you had lots of Americans, a few Canadians, a couple of Australians, a couple of Kiwis. So they're people from all over, but I would say majority of staff were your English, Irish, Scottish, Welsh.
Did you just integrate with everyone, or was you just sticking with the British clique? Or
if I'm honest, the staff was a little bit cliquey, but not to a big deal. You sort of had your staff that you stuck with on your days off. So you had days off. You either had Wednesday and Thursday off, or you had Friday and Saturday off. And you used to go away for the evening and rent a house somewhere or go to a motel, etc. So it wasn't. It was more a case of you stuck with the guys you were on day off with. But when you're in camp, it's such a sociable place, and you're not allowed any technology. You're not allowed your phones. You're not allowed anything like that. So you're forced to talk to people.
Do you not allowed no phones? No phones, no
No,
iPads, no laptops or anything?
So the staff, you had your phones and stuff, but they had to be locked away, and you could have them at night after the kids had all gone to bed. But they had to be locked away before you went to bed, so you couldn't take them back to the bunks and stuff, because obviously you stay in the bunk with the kids.
That sounded a bit dodgy, mate.
I know, it's a little. I mean, if you say it like that, it's a little bit. But yeah, so like camp is like you've got all the bunks. So you've got like 12 bunk beds.
Yeah.
So you'll have all the kids sleep on the bottom bunk, and then there's 4 like on normal beds, and then there's 4 bunk beds in the corner, and you've got the staff on the bunk beds.
Right.
So that's why obviously you're not allowed phones, you're not allowed any sort of like camera devices, anything like that, because obviously then places the child at risk if you're a nonce. But yeah, so it's a funny old place. It's a weird, but yeah, the kids. I mean, kids don't have no technology for 7 weeks. It's
Jesus
a really
Christ,
old.
did you have any surprise in this day and age that kids are actually doing that? Was it just American? I'm taking it was just American kids.
Pretty
like
much
locals,
all American
like
kids. I think there were like 2 international kids that come over from China for it.
Yeah.
But like camp is expensive. Camp is really expensive. It's like the camp I was at was like 15 grand a summer minimum.
Jesus. How long does it run for?
7 weeks.
15 grand.
15 grand, 7 weeks. The kids are there all day, every day, and overnight for 7 weeks.
But these just rich kids. Well,
they're very, very well off families. Things like your lawyers and your bankers from New York, stuff like that.
How was the reception from the locals with you being British? How was you received over there? Was the camp's like where we were. Camp was like a pillar of that like area. So like you really well got on really well with like locals in the sort of village we were at. But when we went on days off, yeah, I mean I had found no hostility from anyone. I think the Americans generally are really welcoming. Yeah.
I mean, there's a really good example. When I arrived in New York, I had a couple of days in an Airbnb with some of the guys that were heading up to camp, and they were actually heading up to camp a day early than me and one of the other lads. So we went and got a hotel. He went off into town. I said, right, I'm gonna go watch a Yankees game. So I plodded off into New York without a clue to where I was going. Saw 2 people in like Yankees jerseys. Just thought, right, I'm gonna follow them till I get to the ground. Got there, went in, got my seat, wherever. I sat there, rang my mate, FaceTimed him just to show him the ground because it's unreal. And the guys next to me turned around and went, are you from England? This typical American thing. Are you from England?
Hey man.
Hey sport. Are you from England? I was like, yeah. I'm just over, like, I head up to summer camp tomorrow. Well, believe me, this was where the weirdest day started. So I ended up drinking and eating all day with these like 7 proper Americans from the Bronx, hardcore Yankees fans that just 7 hours in the sun, like 6-7 hours in the sunshine, just watching the baseball, just plied me with beer and Philly cheesesteak sandwiches and just whatever. Like, didn't pay a penny for anything. And I was chatting away, and then this guy and his son that sat next to me, the other side, started talking to me as well. Like, they're like, so where you from? Just like getting to know them, just so friendly, so friendly. And they were like, so what are you up to after the game? I was like, I'm just gonna sort of head back to the hotel, probably grab some sleep, and maybe find somewhere to go eat. And they were like, no, we're having none of that. We'll take you into the Bronx for some dinner. We'll show you how New Yorkers really do it. And I was like, okay. So the baseball finishes. I say bye to this group of 7 lads that were just being so fucking good to me. And then go off with this guy and his son. They take me into this awesome little old American sort of dirty burger joint. We have some dinner, a couple of beers, The bill comes. I wanted to pay for all of it.
Yeah.
Guy was like, "No, not a chance. You're a guest in New York. It's on us." So I've been plied with beer and food all day at the baseball. I've then been bought dinner by these two Americans that were absolutely lovely. Both follow me on Instagram now. I chat to them every now and again. Really nice guys. And I was like, right, well, they dropped me off at where the station I needed to get back to my hotel. Perfect. And I thought, just sat there on the train and thought, what a day. then sort of realised I didn't know where I was going. So saw these two girls in Yankees gear, and just sort of thought I need to ask someone where on earth I'm getting off the train. So I literally said, "Oh, excuse me, do you have any idea where this street is, or where I need to get off this street?" And they were like, "Yeah, we're getting off at that stop. Just get off with us, and we'll point you in the right direction." I was like, "Oh, like amazing." Anyway, get chatting to these two American girls, and we I ended up going out for drinks with them until like 5 o'clock in the morning, and my mega bus up to camp was at 5:30. I never stayed in my hotel room.
Jesus.
So I paid for a hotel room. I literally dropped my stuff off.
This is all on your own as well?
All on my own, literally just explored New York. Sorry, I've got my future mother-in-law showing me the dress that she's bought to wear to the wedding. All by myself in New York. I went out exploring for the day, and I just must have bumped into the three nicest groups of New Yorkers, because they just took me under their wing and showed me just an amazing day, amazing night. And yeah, never even stayed in my hotel room. I went back to the hotel, picked my bags up, and went and got a bus up to camp.
I bet you looked well then, didn't you, when you rocked up to camp? You must have still been hanging.
It was like a 4.5 hour coach journey. So put it this way, I was asleep within about 3.5 seconds of sitting down.
Yeah, but you must have stunk.
Oh no, I had a shower. I had a shower at the hotel. I literally got in, washed, and then left. But it was a good day. Really good day.
So the New Yorkers in general are good with the British, yeah?
The ones I met, I didn't meet any that weren't exceptionally welcoming. They were very nice people. Well, they were very nice to me.
The father and son and the two ladies, which leads me to another question I wanted to ask. The women in America, I've seen a lot of things online that when British lads go over there, they're like, "Oh my God, you're from England. Whereabouts are you from? Are you from London? Oh my God, you support West Ham United. We love the Hammers."
Well, I mean,
is it like that?
What I would say is the latter part of my adventure on that day in New York sort of can clarify for you that. Obviously, I met those two girls on the train. I obviously just spoke to them to ask for directions. As soon as they knew I was English, in their heads I was already out with them all night having a drink.
Yeah.
So they love the accent. Don't really
I don't understand
know why. But they're lovely. They're all lovely. They're all really nice. Like all the Americans that I met were all really, really lovely.
Oh, that's good. Food over there.
The food at camp, dreadful.
But in New York in general, good?
Yeah, we ate quite well. Not at camp, but when we were off camp. I would say that, the food is good. It is what I'd say is your typical what you think American food to be, like big portions, lots of salt.
Is it really?
Yeah, but it's nice food, but I wouldn't say it's out of this world. But when the guys the father and son took me for dinner in the Bronx, we went to this little proper dirty burger bar and had little slider burgers and beers and whatever. So nice, really, really nice.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say the food's out of this world. Wings is one thing they do really fucking good.
Do you prefer the food here in the UK?
I just like food. I'm a fat kid at heart. I just like food. I like my good home cooked Sunday roast, my traditional English food. I think they do a few things differently. They can't do a cooked breakfast. They don't do bacon properly. They don't do chocolate properly. But they've taken a few things and ruined it. But they've also chicken wings, buffalo chicken wings. Wow.
I'll tell you what they have took and ruined it. Our bloody language, lingo difference.
Ooh.
So the difference between languages, like if you was over there and said to them, for example, there's a fag on the pavement, that translate to Queen's English, there's a cigarette on the side of the road. But they'd think there's a homosexual person on the floor.
I'd say language. I don't think there's like language barrier is not so bad. They just don't get some of our slang, and they don't like sarcasm. Sarcasm is absolutely wasted. Absolutely wasted. Sarcasm, they haven't got a clue. Slang, they haven't got a clue. They struggled with a few people with accents, so we had a couple people from up in Scotland, and they struggled like just understanding them. But then again, they're Scottish.
Oh my god, where you from? London? Fucking no, I'm from Aberdeen.
yeah, exactly. Like exactly that. I took to starting just telling people I was from London just because it was easier than explaining to them where on earth Milton Keynes was. But they're all right.
So they could understand you relatively clear then, yeah?
Yeah, they just, certain things you just had to clarify what on earth you meant.
Yeah, the humour's it's nowhere near British humour, in my opinion. Their jokes are very straight to the point, and I don't know, when I'm watching like American TV series, like Friends, for example, some people might slate me in the comments for this, but I never really thought Friends was not that
some people.
funny.
Some people aren't going to slate you. I'm about to slate you. You don't like Friends.
No, it's just the automated clapping, the automated audience, laughs on cue. I just don't get it. And I think the Americans, well, it was the Americans who the whole they all clap on cue thing. I just, it's like you're meant to laugh. If you're watching a program and they're clapping on cue, that's your cue to laugh. So that's like the program
they're
saying
telling you
to laugh, and I don't like that.
Yeah, no, I get what you mean. I mean, to be fair, I found that the guys the Americans at camp definitely got English humour a lot better than other Americans, mainly because they work with internationals every year, so they've been around it. But like, definitely, some of them didn't understand the way we spoke to each other. So like, I was teaching
shit, pretty much.
Yeah, but like, basically,
mocking each other all the time.
You just like with your mates, you just absolutely terrorize your pals.
Yeah.
And like, so I worked with a lad called Callum as a golf instructor, and he'd get up in the morning and we'd meet up in like the staff area, but he'd just say, all right, mate, you little fucker, and I'd turn around and go, shut up, you big fat prick. But like, with us, we know we're bantering, we're having a laugh, we don't care. That's our way of saying good morning, mate, you're all right. And they just didn't.
Oh my god! Did you hear what Max just said to Callum? They called him a big fat prick. Call the local newspaper.
Yeah, like they just that sort of stuff. They didn't get the way you just sort of terrorize each other. But yeah, they were pretty good. They sort of got our humour, but then they've been working with internationals and stuff, so it's a bit more.
Yeah,
they used to it a little bit.
They're used to people calling like "Good morning, you prick." Do you know? Yeah, that's normal over here, though, isn't it? I think that was similar when was in like Bulgaria. Like certain nationalities, they couldn't like figure out what we was doing when we was just giving each other shit. And a lot of people who aren't from the UK, they do take it to heart as well. You know, when you try having a bit of a laugh with them,
they do.
They perceive it the wrong way, which is a shame.
Yeah, you do have to.
You've got to explain yourself. Yeah,
I did find myself sort of having to think about who I was saying it to, because just in case they didn't take it quite in the way it was meant.
I think the closest thing to us are the Aussies, aren't they? I know there's a lot of dissent.
I think they're worse.
But Well, yeah, probably more than you can. You know what I mean?
Yeah, literally. I lived with an Aussie when I lived in Barcelona, and
We'll
they're a funny bunch.
we can get you on for Barcelona a bit down the line, can't we? Barcelona. Right. So your average day at work out there. You wake up. What happens?
Well, I mean, I did everything I could to do as little as possible, but your general average day at work. So you get up, you get the kids out of bed, you get them to breakfast for about 8 o'clock. So you meet in the breakfast hall, have your breakfast. I then used to skirt off to go get the area ready for golf for campers for that day. The kids would then stay with the group. They'd find out what their activities for the day were, and then they'd be off on their day. So you'd have certain staff that would stay with the group all day and go around to each activity. So there was obviously, you had a lot of activities on camp. So things like, I don't know, golf, sailing, football, rock climbing, archery, whatever it is. And they'd just go around and do their activities for the day. But because I was a specialist in my sport, I just stayed at golf and the campers came to me.
So it was just golf you was teaching throughout?
Yeah, just golf.
Lovely. And I forgot to ask before, was you was 21 whilst you were out there, right? So you was at a legal age to drink?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had always wanted to go to camp, but I always said I wasn't going to go until I turned 21 because I wanted to be able to enjoy everything.
Yeah, experience.
I didn't want to have to not be able to go out in town or not be able to do certain things because I wasn't 21.
Yeah. The nightlife in general, how did you find that around New York? All I can picture, I've never been to America, so I've never been to New York, but I used to watch How I Met Your Mother. Obviously, that was set in New York.
Lots of bars like that.
Is that how it is?
Yeah, there are lots of bars like that. I mean, I didn't really venture into like proper clubby clubs, is what I'd say. We spent a lot of time drinking in sort of bars that turned into clubs. We spent a lot of time in karaoke bars, which was quite funny. We spent a lot of time in the motels pre-drinking and then heading into town to find a bar. But I would say definitely it's more of a bar culture as opposed to a club culture.
Yeah.
So like your bars at 11 o'clock, they'll clear a bit of space and there'll be a bit of a dance floor. The music will be turned up, but it's still a bar.
Yeah.
But it was wicked. Yeah, like really, really good. We spent a lot of time in a place called Lake George. Look it up. It's good. The Lake George Beach House was probably the place that we spent the most time. Yeah.
What about drink prices and beer in general? Was you just drinking like your stereotypical American beers like Bud Light and stuff like that, or? And do you remember how much you was paying, for a pint?
I would say the beers were probably similar price to home. Like I wouldn't say there was much difference. Certain beers were cheaper. We drank a lot of Blue Moon, a lot of Bud Light, a lot of Coors Light, and then a lot of the local beers to where we were. But generally, I would say, it was like, I wouldn't say the prices. I didn't sit there and go, wow, they're expensive or wow, they're cheap. I'd have just said it was like paying for a normal beer.
Was their drinking culture similar to ours or not? I mean, we've got Binge Britain, and to be honest with you, I don't think that's going to change.
I would say I didn't really see that side of things because when I went out on days off, we were all out to go and get plastered, and it was all international staff and a few Americans, a few Canadians, a couple of Aussies. We all got involved. We got stuck in big time. So like chaotic, mate. It was chaotic. But I just wouldn't. I didn't see that side of the drinking culture from the American side of things. No one can drink like us.
was they behaving different though? What I mean is,
like the American staff or the
no, say I think over there it's similar to like Denmark. They can drink on shift, can't they? The bartenders and everything over there, which we don't have here. I mean, like your average bloke who goes on a night out, who you seen, who was pissed up, tanked up. Was he behaving like somebody who was pissed up from the UK?
No, I would say that obviously we brought the level down a little bit. Of course, we did with Brits.
Yeah, because you respect it. You wasn't behaving like you would if you was that pissed up in the UK.
No, I wouldn't have said so. I would have said everyone was fairly respectful in the way they acted, generally speaking. Mainly because we're in a community that everyone knew that we were from camp.
Yeah.
And if it got back to camp that we had done something outrageous, or not outrageous, that there was plenty of things that happened that you think, Jesus Christ, and there's some stories to tell, but like, if it had got back to camp that we did something that was probably across the line or a bit like wrong,
yeah,
we'd have just lost our job. Even though we were out in the town and we were on day off, we still had to bear in mind we were sort of representing camp.
Did you have any run-ins while you're out there with any locals? Anyone giving you a bit of grief?
Well, I had one run-in with the police.
Go on, enlighten me.
Oh, honestly, this is a good one. So the way they insure their cars out there is a little bit different. They insure the car, not the person.
Right.
So once the car's insured,
anyone can drive.
Anyone with a license can drive it.
Right.
So on days off, the local staff would let the international staff use their cars.
Yeah.
So that we could drive to destinations where we'd rented a house or where the motel was, etc. Or whatever. We could just go do whatever we were doing on a day off. So I was the designated driver every week for our group because I was the only one in my group that had a license. Yeah. And also because I'd driven abroad before on the wrong side of the road. So it's fine, no bother. Anyway, so we were driving this American girl's car, one of the worst cars I've ever driven. Pretty sure it was a Honda Civic, but like a saloon Honda Civic Sport. It was awful. It was an automatic. It was the worst car. Honestly, the gearbox felt like it had been driven by Colin McRae for about 30 years. It was battered, like worst gearbox I've ever driven. Just awful. Like it would get up to like 6,500 revs, and I just sat there pushing the accelerator, waiting for it to just click into gear. Like just bad. But yeah, so we were driving that through Warrensburg town, and we get to a set of traffic lights, and there was a geezer just like just really, really far up my ass. I just thought, what is going on here? Anyway, he swung around me as we got to the traffic lights, and a massive pickup, like American traditional pickup. He just swerved in front of me diagonally, stopped, pointed out the window and said, "You pull over."
How many of you were in the car at this time?
5 of us.
Right.
And so he's gone. So I pointed at me and went, "What, in there, like into the lay-by?" And he said, "Yeah." I looked at my mate and I've gone, what on earth do I do here?
Was he American, your friend?
Yeah, he was American. No, my friend was Irish. And it was me, one was Irish, one was a Kiwi, another one was Irish, and one was Scottish. So we had a real mix in the car. But either way, and the guy said, "Pull over." And I looked at my mate in the front seat and said, "I don't want to pull over. I don't know who that bloke is. Like, I don't know what's going on here." Traffic lights turned green. He pulled into the lay-by. I just put my foot down. Booted it up onto the freeway. I was doing about 160 down the freeway.
Is the limits on the freeway out there? Or?
Yeah, limits. I think the limit was 100. I was doing 60 over the speed limit. I was booting it, weaving in and out of traffic just to get away from this geezer because we didn't know who he was. But he had a police badge as well. So I was like, just booted it. Got down the freeway, jumped off at the next junction, pulled into this big shopping mall where the cinema was, parked up, locked the car, went to the cinema. Thought nothing else of it. Come back out the cinema, get a phone call. It was the girl's dad. So the girl we were borrowing the car off, he thought we'd nicked the car.
Right.
But he was the county sheriff.
Oh, shit.
So he had Warrensburg County Police out looking for his daughter's car. No. And we were sat in the cinema watching Spider-Man. And the mad thing is, I drove it back to camp, pulled up at camp, parked up, unpacked. She'd had her dad on the phone telling her someone had stolen her car.
And what? So she just explained to her dad, like, look, I'm just giving it to a friend, or? She
couldn't tell her dad that she'd let someone use her car.
No.
Otherwise her car would be taken off her. So she had to go along with it.
So you just got away with it? You just got
away with it. Yeah, just got away with it. Jesus. But yeah, honestly, that was scary. He was a big American with a police badge in a pickup that was like as big as some people's house. And I just put my foot down and hoped to God that the gearbox changed gear when I needed it to.
And it did.
Yeah,
and you got to go see Spider-Man.
And we got to watch Spider-Man, and it was all fun and games.
Was it running through your head whilst you was in the cinema? Like, who the fuck was that guy?
We couldn't work it out. We were sat there thinking, like, who could that be? And actually, one of the lads did say, I wonder if it is this girl's dad. Because we did know that he was a policeman, and obviously she was quite local to the area. I thought, I wonder if it is her dad. Obviously, it turned out it was, yeah. But no, it wasn't good. It wasn't one of a... It was a bit of a hairy moment.
Money-wise out there, how much was you spending? Like, I mean, the camp couldn't have been cheap.
No, so like, what I would say is like, in the same way that I said Sunny Beach, you earn enough to see yourself through. You don't earn any money to bring back.
Yeah.
So I earned enough money each week to fund my nights out, to do some exploring on days off, to go to the cinema, or do whatever.
Yeah.
That was what it was. Your work paid for your fun, basically.
Yeah. But in terms of like the camp, how much did that cost to get you out there?
Oh, I think it cost me in total like about £1,200.
Yeah.
Yeah, once I paid the fees to camp leaders, paid for my flights.
Is that what you did and everything as well? Yeah, accommodation.
What?
Is that with your accommodation and everything?
Well, yeah, you live at the camp.
So that's for 7 weeks.
Yeah, you live at the camp for 7 weeks.
That's not too bad though, is it? 1,200.
No, it's not too deadly. Like, it's not. It's fine. Like, it doesn't cost. I'm not going to say it costs a fortune. That's your accommodation for 7 weeks, and then you get paid. So you probably cover your costs and pay your money from camp.
And was you getting paid weekly whilst you were out there?
Yeah, paid weekly. So they set you up. You get a social security number when you get there. They set you up with an American bank account, and then they just pay. You get you get like a debit card for it, and then they just pay you into that.
Oh, it's decent, mate. It's decent.
Yeah, so like, it's good. Like, good. Like, I highly recommend doing it for anyone. Like, I obviously camp has played a big part in the next chapter of my life. So I got fond memories.
Yeah. So was it all that it was cracked up to be? Did you get the experience that you felt you was going to get before, and what you signed up for, and would you recommend it
I would say
people?
part of it yes, part of it no. Like, obviously for me, I'd highly recommend anyone to go and do camp. Like, it's a really, really good experience. Obviously for me, camp has turned out to be one of the best things I ever did, because obviously I'm now marrying.
We'll get onto that.
Someone that I met there. So camp holds a special place to me. I probably didn't treat camping maybe the way people should. I went out there to have fun and have a bit of an adventure.
Was you in Bulgaria mode?
On days off I was. But like, mate, actually, I'd tell you this. So the first day I rocked up at camp, this lad walks up to me and goes, "I know you." And I went, "Nah, I've never met you in my life, mate. Sorry. Like, not sure who you are, but nice to meet you anyway." And he goes, No, I know you." And I went, "Oh, mate, I don't, honestly. If I've met you before, I've forgotten you, but like not in a rude way. Like, I just don't."
Yeah.
And he went, "Oh no, I definitely know you. Let me figure it out, and I'll tell you." About 2 hours later, he goes, "Did you work in Sunny Beach?"
No.
And I went, "Yeah, I did work in Sunny Beach. Why?" He goes, "That's where I know you from." And I'd sold him and his mates tickets for the whole week
No
in
way.
Sunny Beach. And
It's an English lad.
Yeah, he's from Liverpool. But he showed me messages between him, no, so it's from his mate and me, organising when to meet them in Sunny Beach to pick up their tickets.
Wow.
And there was pictures of me and him like dancing on the bar in Viking.
It's a small world, isn't it?
Small world. So, but he literally walked on and went, "I know you," and I went, "I don't know who you are." But now he's one of my pals. He's coming to the wedding. Just like, yeah. But like, I think you meet camp in Bulgaria. Sunny Beach definitely shares some similarities in the way that you meet people that you make connections with. You spend that time with them. You live in such close proximity that they become like family for the summer.
Yeah.
And like you've got pals from Sunny Beach that maybe you don't talk to as much as you'd like to, or maybe you don't get to see them as often as you could, but you still know. You drop them a message if you're in town, and you'll catch up.
Yeah.
Like you make really good friendships and bonds out there. I probably could have taken the camp side of things a little bit more seriously. Like I could have probably done better lessons with the kids, but like they enjoyed themselves. But like, yeah, I went for the experience of meeting new people, enjoying myself, seeing a new country and that sort of stuff. I didn't necessarily go out there for the actual camp side of things, but saying that, camp was amazing. Like it's incredible, and I would highly recommend it to anyone.
So you've met friends for life, and you've met your future wife who you get married to in...
Did,
what,
yeah,
4
months?
3 months, jeez.
3 months' time, yeah. It's all coming around very quickly. But yeah, no, we met out at camp, sort of a bit of a funny situation,
So she wasn't doing Camp America, no?
No, she was. So she was
Okay.
doing camp. So she was the sailing instructor, I was a golf instructor. We got on really well, like a house on fire, like straight away. But like I'd not long split up with my ex, so I wasn't out in America for like any sort of relationship to happen, anything like that.
Yeah.
And as I said, I was in a bit of Sunny Beach mode. So like let's say was playing the field. Just wary of the fact that she probably will listen to this.
What
Not that
position?
she. I mean, so she.
All
over. I was playing the James Milner role, utility man. But I mean,
box
so
to
she.
box.
Yeah, exactly. So like, we were actually with different people whilst we were out at camp. So we never actually hooked up whilst we were at camp.
Right.
She hooked up with one of my pals. I hooked up with a couple of other people. Like, so, but we were just really close. We like really close as mates whilst we were out there. Got on really well. Just whatever. I then moved home, moved to Barcelona. She came back here. We made, just with certain people, you make the effort to stay in touch and meet up when you can.
Course.
Certain people you don't. I came back. We met up in London. She then came out for New Year's. And like we just stayed in contact, like just got really, really close, and then it all sort of snowballed from there pretty damn quickly.
And now I'm gonna have a daughter-in-law.
Now you're gonna have a daughter-in-law. She's gonna have to get Byron is my dad tattooed on her. I have told her.
Byron is my dad-in-law.
But Byron is my father-in-law.
So
camp, but all in all, an amazing experience and well worth doing if you've got sort of a summer where you don't know what you're going to do and you want to do some travelling. It's a good way to travel.
Spot on. 5 things. We'll wrap it up with 5 things that you loved about America. Off the top of your head. Quick fire.
5 things.
Mm-hmm.
The weather.
Yeah.
The people.
Yeah.
The scenery.
Yeah.
The drinking.
Yeah. Trump.
The build up to the Conor McGregor fight. It was all over the gaff.
Was Trump Was Trump in charge at the time? It would have been
Yeah,
like 2 years ago.
all the kids and their families were all very much pro-Trump.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, now we'll go for talking to Trump. 5 things you hate about America.
Hang on 2 seconds. I like the dress.
Max likes the dress. Anybody audio listening is, I think it was his mother-in-law's just walked in. Yeah. His mother-in-law's just walked in the dress that she's going to wear to your wedding, right?
Yeah, basically. No, so today's a big day. So Becca's mum and dad are going down to have lunch with my mum and dad without me and Becca.
Have they've met before, or?
Yeah, they've met before.
Oh,
We've done we did like Christmas together and stuff this year. So like we've all met and everything. But yeah, they're going down for lunch without us, which me and Becca are a little bit wary about. Being at the wedding's in 3 months.
Lovely.
I assume that's probably the topic of conversation. But yeah, 5 things I didn't like about America. Do you know what? Honestly, it was such a good experience. I genuinely couldn't tell you 5 things I didn't like about it.
Pick 5, Maxi boy.
I haven't got 5.
You can use Trump as 1 if you don't like Donald Trump. It's fine.
Alright, I don't like Trump. I didn't actually particularly like the kids.
What? Why? Because they're just stuck up, rich kids.
They were really spoiled rich kids. They were just hard work. The kids knew that they paid your wages, basically. Like
really?
I told
How old was
kids
they actually? I didn't even ask you that.
I told the kids what to do, and they would literally turn around and go, "I don't have to do that."
My daddy give me.
My dad literally pays your wages. They were stuck up, spoiled. Like, some of them were lovely, but 90% of them were stuck up, spoiled, and just
spoiled little fucks.
Yeah, you know, like sort of kids, they just need a slap.
Yeah.
But obviously, you're definitely not allowed to do that. I don't promote hitting children.
He's Camp America ambassador, Max.
What?
The Camp America ambassador for the children, Max.
Yeah. No, like most, they were like they had their times and they were lovely, but they just obviously when you got parents that are paying $15,000 a summer
and then
for their kids to be away, and like I felt a little bit bad for the kids because a lot of them were like they'd go to boarding school, they'd be away at school all year, and then they'd come back, and then their parents send them away for the summer.
Yeah,
like, they just never see their mum and dad. So like,
yeah, but the parents are living La Vida Loca though.
Yeah, of course they're out living life in the Hamptons or whatever. So they're all right. But yeah, no. So I liked the kids, but they were hard work. And they just knew what they could get away with. They knew really there wasn't any sort of authority.
But yeah,
I can't give you 3 more, mate. Honestly, it was a really good experience. Really good experience. The country was awesome. Norwegian Air were dreadful. Don't fly with them.
Who's your favourite American? We'll finish on that question. Your favourite American person of all time? I'll say Tiger Woods.
My favourite American person of all time?
Yeah.
Barbara Curtis.
I think mine would be her.
You don't know who Barbara Curtis is? It's one of my godparents.
Clue.
I don't need any celebrities. I've got family. They're much better.
You've got family over there?
Yeah. I've got 2 godparents out there.
Oh, lovely. Right, Max, thank you very much for coming on today. Thanks for everybody who's watched the first episode as well and rated it on iTunes. People who've subscribed onto YouTube, thank you very much. If you like this episode, then do subscribe on YouTube. Get over to Apple Podcasts, give it a 5-star and a review if you did like it. And if you want to be a guest or you have any questions, I've set up a separate email. So that's byronsworld@hotmail.com if you want to send in any questions. But for now, that's bye from me and bye from Max.
See you later, people.
Thank you very much, Max. We'll be here for you again in the near future, I'm sure.
Perfect. See you later, mate. Take care.
Take it easy.
Sweet.
Spot on.